Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5.
هیچ کس رو غیر از او و غیر از حامیان او
Iran has categorically denied any link with Salman Rushdie's attacker, instead blaming the writer himself. Mr. Rushdie was left severely injured after being stabbed on stage at an event in New York State. He is now able to breathe unaided.
And the other thing that's happening is that
He has faced years of death threats for his 1988 novel, The Satanic Verses. Iranian media have extensively commented on the attack, calling it divine retribution. Earlier, the US Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, accused Iran's state media of gloating about the attack, calling its behavior despicable. Relatives have attended a mass funeral in Egypt for some of the 41 victims killed in an electrical fire and stampede at the Abu Safin church. Coffins were passed through the Virgin Mary and Archangel Michael Church, where families had gathered to grieve and pray for the deceased. The blaze started just before 9 a.m. in Gerza and blocked an entrance to the church, causing the almost 1,000 attendees to stampede. It's been reported that some 18 children aged between 3 to 16 years old were among the dead. 5,000 worshippers had gathered for Mass at the church in Gerza. Family members of miners trapped in a mine located in northwestern Mexico say that if their family members did not come out alive, their deaths would be a crime that could not go unpunished. They're also demanding authorities inform them on what they will do regarding the rising water levels inside the mine. The 10 miners became trapped inside the Pinabet mine in the town of Sabinas when their excavation work caused a tunnel wall to collapse, triggering flooding in 3 wells. Japan's Prime Minister has pledged to never again wage war on the anniversary of Japan's World War II surrender. The National Memorial Service was also attended by Japanese Emperor Naruhito. 787 people attended the ceremony this year, including 592 family members of victims of the war. The anniversary commemoration was linked to Yasukuni Shrine, a controversial site that honours 14 Japanese wartime leaders convicted as war criminals by an Allied tribunal.
But what we had from Scott Morrison...
Australia's Prime Minister says he has sought legal advice from the country's Solicitor General following reports that his predecessor Scott Morrison was secretly appointed to key ministerial roles during the COVID-19 pandemic. The Australian newspaper said Morrison was co-appointed Health Minister in 2020 to avoid concentrating power in one person during the coronavirus pandemic. He was later also appointed Finance Minister and in 2021 was made Administrator of the Resources Ministry.
This isn't some, local footy club. This is the government of Australia, where the people of Australia were kept in the dark as to what the ministerial arrangements were. It's completely unacceptable. There's an absolute need for clear transparency to come through here. It is unbecoming, it was cynical, and it was just weird that this has occurred. And Australians will be scratching their head today knowing that the government that they thought was there wasn't actually the Australian government at all.
And finally, a red panda that boldly escaped from its enclosure and evaded recapture for 2 days has been caught and safely returned to an Australian zoo. Ravi, the red panda, made his breakout from the Adelaide Zoo on Friday, but was found in a tree in the nearby Botanic Park. Zoo workers were unsuccessful in luring the 7-year-old out of the tree with bamboo and were forced to use a tranquilizer dart. Once the drug took effect on the animal, zoo workers and helpers safely caught the falling Ravi in a sheet. Adelaide's zoo director said Ravi would spend the next few days recovering from his escape and getting a health checkup.
From tomorrow morning, we will start a review of the space in which he was contained and just trying to identify how he got out of that space. So we'll work through that, review any camera footage that we may have.
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.